If you remember, immediately after the Venezuelan attack, Trump said that he would attack Iran next. 3 days ago, Russia ordered all Russians out of Israel, and people said that there would be an attack on Iran within 72 hours. There was an insurgency, probably funded by the CIA once again. The insurgency is put down. When Trump realized that the insurgency wouldn't work and that the regime would not be toppled, he now wants to break Iran even further through sanctions and has imposed these indirect taxes of 25% on any country that deals with Iran. This is the background that one must keep in mind.
2026 has started with a storm as U.S. President Donald Trump shakes the world with an additional 25% tariffs on any country doing business with Iran. This directly impacts major U.S. trade ties across the globe, including India and China, which are among Iran's main trading partners. This comes amid waves of protests in Tehran, which have left more than 2,000 people dead.
Well, I think one thing President Trump is very good at is always keeping all of his options on the table, and airstrikes would be one of the many, many options that are on the table for the commander-in-chief. Diplomacy is always the first option for the president. He's told all of you last night that what you're hearing publicly from the Iranian regime is quite differently from the messages the administration is receiving privately, and I think the president has an interest in exploring those messages. However, with that said, the president has shown he's unafraid to use military options if and when he deems necessary, and nobody knows that better than Iran.
If you remember, immediately after the Venezuelan attack, Trump said that he would attack Iran next. 3 days ago, Russia ordered all Russians out of Israel, and people said that there would be an attack on Iran within 72 hours. There was an insurgency, probably funded by the CIA once again. The insurgency is put down. When Trump realized that the insurgency wouldn't work and that the regime would not be toppled, he now wants to break Iran even further through sanctions and has imposed these indirect taxes of 25% on any country that deals with Iran. This is the background that one must keep in mind. Now, how will that hurt India? India is building the Chabahar port there as a counter to the Gwadar port. It's been delayed in the past because of sanctions. It's been brought back again so that we can continue, so that India can build up the network of lines all the way to Afghanistan and Russia and maybe even China. America does not like it. And that is why it wants to attack Iran once again. It tried attacking Iran last time, in June last year, when Israel sent in drones to kill the top commanders in Iran. They thought that the regime would collapse. It did not. Instead, Iran retaliated, destroying much of Israel's infrastructure, and has warned that if Iran is attacked now, all US bases in the Middle East and Israel will come under attack. So America is furious. It's been checkmated once again and it wants to break Iran, hence the 25% tax. Now, so what does India do? India can ignore America. India can continue working with Iran and help build, strengthen Iran, unless, of course, Iran can get all the Arab states to its side and say we will continue trading, ban or no ban. Meanwhile, Iran gets a lot of money from China by selling its oil to China. I guess it will seek China's help once again. India, if you remember last week, has already told China that we are going to open up with China and allow its investments little by little into India. India realizes that in this mad world where the US is unpredictable, the only source of investment will be China, and that is why India is talking to China. Expect Trump to retaliate against India very soon. It does not like India talking to Russia. It does not like India talking to China, and it does not like India talking to Iran either. It wants to ring fence India the way it ring fenced Japan before the Second World War, leaving Japan with no other alternative but to attack Pearl Harbor. So then when America says Pearl Harbor was an unprovoked attack, it was lying again. This is what the 25% tariff will do. Well, remember one thing, that when you had to build the Chabahar port, this was decided almost more than a decade ago. But thanks to American sanctions, we could not go ahead. Meanwhile, Gwadar has developed, and Gwadar has become the transit point not only for China's the China-Pakistan CPEC, the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor, but even Russia has started routing its goods through the Gwadar port and using the Arabian Sea to export and import from the Gulf region. Gwadar has become important, marginalizing India. If India kowtows to US once again, it will marginalize further. Also remember that India was a very powerful player in the BRICS till last year, till 24. In 24, under US pressure, India was the only country which tried to veto the de-dollarization move, the move away from dollars. Now, with China's bilateral treaties with several countries, the de-dollarization moves, the new system for trading in their own currency backed with gold, backed against gold, is beginning to gain momentum. India is on the sidelines. If India does not participate in these activities as part of BRICS, next year's BRICS summit, where India is the chairperson, India is going to host that event, India may cut a very sorry figure. Will India's ties with Iran disappear? No. Iran is also part of BRICS, except there's a danger of BRICS becoming Brazil, Russia, Iran, China, South Africa. India runs the danger of being displaced in BRICS as well if India does not take a stand. India likes to say that we are neutral. But remember, in international politics, if you sit on the fence too long, people think you're weak. People laugh at you. People don't respect you. And that is something that India cannot afford. India does not deserve. India must take a stand and not face further humiliation again and again. Well, if Trump's threat of 25% tariffs works, Iran is already broken. The riots that began was for an economic cause because prices have gone up. The value of the Iranian currency has gone down. You can't create many more jobs which are rewarding enough for the people who are aspirational. Iran is a very young population, highly educated. And remember, Iran, despite the sanctions, has built its own weaponry, its own missile systems at a fraction of the cost at which America or Israel or any other Western power has produced them. And these are weapons that bypass every security intercept that Israel has or America has. Iran is formidable. Iran is now just about a month away from producing a nuclear bomb. The more you try to push Iran, Iran will create a nuclear facility, abetted, supported, defended by Russia. Both Russia and China know that Iran is crucial, is a very crucial player in the Central Asian geopolitics. And so it's going to be interesting whether Iran will be broken or whether Iran will be bailed out by both Russia and China.
All Iranian patriots keep protesting, take over your institutions if possible, and save the name of the killers and the abusers that are abusing you. You're being very badly abused. If the numbers are right now, I hear 5 different sets of numbers. I hear numbers, look, 1 death is too much. But I hear much lower numbers, and then I hear much higher numbers. But I say save their names because they'll pay a very big price. And I've canceled all meetings with the Iranian officials until the senseless killing of protesters stops. And all I say to them is help is on its way. You saw that I put tariffs on anybody doing business with Iran. Just went into effect today. And I say make Iran great again. You know, it was a great country until these monsters came.
I would say they could, not a bad idea. I think they should get out.